And welcome back! Let's dive right into the latest drama. Yumo tried to return the reverse scale to Chaolan, but she wouldn't take it back. He insisted, saying the token was meaningless to him and should be with its rightful owner. Seeing his determination, Chaolan made a different request. She asked him to personally crown her at her succession ceremony. Yumo felt he wasn't worthy of such an honor, but her sincere plea moved him, and he finally agreed. Today was the day Chaolan would become the dragon sovereign of the four seas. Yingdeng arrived to congratulate her. In turn, Chaolan wished for Yingdeng and Yumo's happiness together. Yingdeng quickly clarified that Yumo already had someone he loved, but tragically, he had missed his chance with her. Chaolan then revealed the truth. Yumo's heart had always belonged to Yingdeng. He had just been too afraid to scare her away, so he kept his feelings hidden. Chaolan sighed, explaining that the greatest pain is unrequited love, and Yumo had endured it all, just so Yingdeng could live a free and happy life. When the auspicious hour came, Yumo placed the crown upon Chaolan's head. She received the respects of the entire dragon tribe and officially ascended the throne. After the ceremony, Yumo said his goodbyes, wishing that she would soon find someone who would cherish her as she deserved. Back in the heavenly realm, Lumming was met by Jixi, who was incredibly anxious about Yingdeng. When Lumming told her that Yingdeng was happy and doing well, Jixi was immensely relieved. Lumming encouraged her to go see her sister, but Jixi felt too ashamed to face her. Meanwhile, Shenxiao, Yingdeng, and Yumo all had the same feeling. Yingdeng was not as innocent as she seemed. They suspected she knew the secret technique Li Chun had mentioned. After talking it over, they decided to go with Yingdeng back to her sect, Craneheart Gate, to quietly observe and figure out her true intentions. The four of them entered a dense forest that led to Yingdeng's sect. Sensing their distrust, Yingdeng promised she would explain everything once they arrived. Suddenly, Li Chun began acting strangely. Yingdeng guessed it had something to do with the forest itself, and Yingdeng admitted this was where she had found him. Yumo, sensing a potential ambush, ordered her to lead the way. Yingdeng claimed she knew the area well from gathering firewood for years and suggested they avoid the dangerous western marshes by taking a longer route from the north. However, Tang Zhou quickly noticed that the trees weren't growing naturally. They were deliberately arranged in a bagua array. He realized that entering the center would activate the formation. Before he could warn everyone, the sky darkened and clouds began to swirl ominously. Yingdeng insisted that this was exactly what happened when she found Li Chun here before. The truth was finally revealed. Years ago, while cutting wood, Yingdeng had accidentally triggered this demonic bagua array. Her senior martial sister had followed her in, scolding her for slacking off. But Yingdeng, consumed by her ambition, used the array's power to cultivate the forbidden frost scripture, causing her abilities to skyrocket. In a fit of rage, she turned her senior sister into a stone statue and then shattered it into pieces. Underneath the rubble, she discovered Li Chun and took him for herself. Tang Zhou calculated that the northern path was the only way out and led Yumo and Yingdeng forward. Seizing the opportunity, Yingdeng launched a surprise attack on Yingdeng. But Tang Zhou and Yumo were ready, and they moved to shield her from the blow. Consumed by a twisted hatred, Yingdeng finally confessed everything. She'd worked for years to win Pei Luo's trust, on the very brink of becoming a princess. But then Yingdeng came along and ruined all her plans. She screamed that everything she had ever done was for Tang Zhou. Her plan was simple. Kill Yingdeng, use her heart to heal him, wipe his memory, and then they could finally be together. As she spoke, a dark, ominous fog rolled across the sky.
Yumo immediately sensed the danger and shouted a warning.
Yingdeng laughed, claiming the fog was composed of the restless spirits of the demon clan.
With the powerful artifact Li Chun and the nine-fin dragon pellet in her possession, she planned to turn Yumo and Yingdeng into stone and seize control of the mortal realm. She unleashed her full power, a terrifying wave of energy that forced Tang Zhou and the others onto the defensive. Yingdeng's strength was overwhelming.
Yingdeng struggled to hold on,
her energy failing.
She cried out to Tang Zhou, telling him to swallow the memory pearl that Chaolan had given him. It was their only hope. It would restore all his immortal techniques, but Yumo had another idea. He urged Tang Zhou to use Li Chun itself to counter Yingdeng's attack. Enraged by their resistance, Yingdeng pressed forward, unleashing the dreaded frost scripture. Seeing this, Yumo quickly instructed Tang Zhou to use the same technique to turn Li Chun against her. The name Frost Scripture sounded strangely familiar to Yingdeng, a distant echo in her memory she couldn't quite place.
Yingdeng was shocked.
She never expected Yumo to know the secret of the Frost Scripture. Using this knowledge, Tang Zhou quickly gained the upper hand and subdued her. Defeated, Yingdeng proclaimed bitterly that she had served Tang Zhou faithfully for 1,000 years, only to die by his hand. With her final breath, she swore to haunt his conscience forever, and then her body turned to stone. Yingdeng commented that she deserved her fate. Her obsessive love had driven her completely mad. But a new fear crept into her heart. She worried that the mysterious woman in Tang Zhou's recurring dreams might be just as obsessive and dangerous. Tang Zhou remained silent, lost in thought. To find answers about Li Chun's techniques, Yingdeng suggested they travel to Craneheart Gate. The three arrived at an inn near the gate, where Yumo asked the innkeeper about the sect's history. The old man explained that Yingdeng had practiced many sinister arts, earning the hatred of her fellow disciples. When the Emperor Peiluo visited, she used her dark magic to enchant him and was taken back to the palace as a concubine. But on the very night she left, the entire Craneheart Gate burned to the ground. 57 people died, with not a single survivor. Yingdeng and Tang Zhou were stunned by her sheer cruelty.
Yingdeng shuddered, realizing that if Yumo hadn't known the Frost Scripture, they would all be statues right now.
Looking at Yumo, she made a decision. She declared she would no longer be just his follower. She wanted to train alongside him, to become strong enough to protect herself, and to protect him too. Yumo was overjoyed by her words, but Tang Zhou felt a sharp pang of jealousy. Just then, a young boy named Shaoxin started choking on his food nearby.
Yingdeng rushed over and skillfully saved him.
The boy's grandmother was immensely grateful and insisted they stay for the Dragon Boat Festival, preparing the traditional 5 Yellows feast for them. Yumo, being a fish demon, refused to eat anything of his own kind. Yingdeng worried that the Realgar wine, a festival staple, would expose their true forms. Tang Zhou reluctantly drank a few sips. When the old woman offered Yingdeng a cup, Tang Zhou discreetly tested it for poison, finding none. Yumo, ever protective, drank a cup for Yingdeng. When she then raised her cup to toast Yumo, in thanks, Tang Zhou intercepted it, declaring dismissively that Yingdeng was just a maid he'd picked up. Playing along, Yumo pretended to be Tang Zhou's steward, scolding him for trying to ruin his budding romance with Yingdeng. Yumo fakes a headache, and Yingdeng pretends her asthma is flaring up. This leaves poor Tang Zhou to take one for the team. He drinks cup after cup until he's completely wasted. Yumo has to carry him back to their room. As Tang Zhou is passed out, he keeps murmuring Yingdeng's name over and over again. This is the moment Yumo finally realizes the depth of Tang Zhou's feelings for Yingdeng. It's not just a passing fancy. He's truly in love with her. While Tang Zhou is out, he's trapped in a heartbreaking dream. He sees a woman desperately begging him for his heart, and then, right before his eyes, she leaps into a river. The sorrow is so intense that it follows him even in his sleep. Meanwhile, a real-life nightmare is unfolding. The old woman from the inn sneaks into their room and steals the artifact. Li Chun. It turns out she's an agent working for the master of the Shenxiao Palace. Now, you might be wondering, what's the point of stealing an artifact that has already recognized its master? Li Chun can't be used by anyone else. But the palace master doesn't care about that. His real goal is much more sinister. He just wants to lure Tang Zhou, Yingdeng, and Yumo into his carefully laid trap, pushing his grand, evil plan one step closer to reality. The next morning, Tang Zhou wakes up with a pounding headache and an even bigger problem. Li Chun is gone. Panic sets in. Umo immediately starts investigating the area around the inn. What he discovers is chilling.
The inn wasn't just quiet.
It's been abandoned for a long time. Someone had rented out the entire place just 3 days before they arrived. And nobody, absolutely nobody, recognizes the old woman or the child they saw. It was all a setup, an elaborate illusion designed to trick them. As they try to piece things together, Yandan makes another crucial discovery. She finds traces of realgar powder mixed into the wine they were served. This wasn't just any ingredient. It was used to mask the scent of a powerful knockout drug. Umo quickly connects the dots. This whole thing was a targeted attack. Their enemies knew that as non-humans, Umo and Yandan couldn't drink the realgar wine. So, they cleverly forced Tang Zhou, the only human among them, to drink it all. Once he was unconscious, they had the perfect opportunity to swoop in and steal Li Chun. They were played from the very beginning. Yandan racks her brain, trying to identify the knockout drug. She remembers that its key ingredient, a specific type of herb, only grows on one place. Jukui Mountain, that's their next destination! The trio immediately sets off for Jukui Town, a small settlement at the foot of the mountain, hoping to find the source of the drug and, with it, a lead on the Shenxiao Palace. They know they can't just go around asking about a rare poison. That would attract way too much attention. So, Yandan comes up with a plan. She suggests they start their search at the Jinhua Pavilion, a local dance house where secrets and information flow as freely as wine. Tang Zhou, ever the righteous demon slayer, is horrified by the idea. He flatly refuses to set foot in what he considers a place of ill repute. But Umo, always more pragmatic, knows they don't have a choice. He practically drags Tang Zhou inside. To avoid any unwanted attention herself, Yandan cleverly disguises herself as a man. Inside, the atmosphere is electric. The main event is about to begin. The lead dancer, a woman named Fu Shuang, takes the stage. She is breathtakingly beautiful, and her dance is nothing short of mesmerizing. Her every move is filled with grace and elegance, and the crowd is completely captivated, erupting in thunderous applause. Her beauty, however, attracts the wrong kind of attention. A wealthy local brute named Zhaoqi is instantly infatuated. He throws 1,000 gold pieces on the stage, demanding to spend the night with her. Yandan overhears the people around her whispering. This Zhaoqi has a nasty reputation. He's known for using sleep and smoke and a sinister love incense to assault women. The whispers say countless lives have been ruined by him. But because of his family's power and connections with corrupt officials, he always gets away with it. The pavilion mistress quickly steps in, trying to de-escalate the situation. She reminds Zhao Qi that they sell performances, not people. She asks Fu Shuang to just offer him a toast as an apology. But Zhao Qi is relentless. He insists that she'll drink a lover's cup with him, a clear and disgusting proposition. Yandan can't stand by and watch this happen. She's just about to step in and teach this bully a lesson he'll never forget. But just as she moves, a parrot suddenly swoops down from the rafters and expertly knocks the cup right out of Zhaoqi's hand. The timing is perfect. At that exact moment, a man named Liu Weiyang arrives. He publicly condemns Zhaoqi for his vile behavior, shaming him in front of the entire audience. Fu Shuang, incredibly grateful for this unexpected rescue, agrees to share a single drink with Liu Weiyang as a sign of her thanks. Then, hand in hand, the two of them leave the pavilion together. Zhaoqi is left fuming, his ego completely bruised. He storms out, screaming that he is going to report the Jinhua Pavilion to the authorities and have the whole place shut down. This is the opening our heroes have been waiting for. Yandan quickly gives orders. She tells Yumo and Tang Zhou to follow Zhaoqi and get some answers out of him. Meanwhile, she decides she will investigate the mysterious Liu Weiyang herself. Tang Zhou, showing his concern, warns her to be careful before they all split up to pursue their leads. Yumo and Tang Zhou easily catch up to the enraged Zhaoqi. Under pressure, He quickly confesses everything he knows. The knockout drug used at the inn is called soul-melting powder, and it's produced exclusively by the Shenxiao Palace. He describes them as an incredibly secretive organization. No one knows where their headquarters are, and their disciples are shrouded in mystery. They are ghosts everywhere and nowhere at the same time. This is the first solid lead they've had, but it only opens up more questions. Who is the master of this palace? What is their ultimate goal? And how do our heroes fight an enemy they can't even find? The plot thickens, and the danger is only just beginning. Thanks for watching, everyone! What do you think of this crazy plan by the Shenxiao Palace? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Do you never forget to like this video and subscribe so you do UNM. Miss the next part of the story? See you next time!